Okay, initially the Atari didn't come with much as far as control panels. You have to install one. I mean, I can set the color and style here and do a couple of things, but there's a wide variety of things like installing printers, different things that you want to do. So we're going to do that here. We're going to use the one called XControl, came out later, and I'll show you how to install that. Now, of course, the first thing you have to do is install it. You have to download the control. Now, I'll give you a link to that in the description of the video, but it's very simple to place it in the root directory of your C drive or on your A drive, whatever you're booting from. Then if you boot from that there, or you reboot with it in the root directory, and you click on Control Panel, you see you have the control panel. The problem is you don't have any what they call CPXs. There is one option that you can do here while we're here, and that's to go to the setup. We can change where they're located. Instead of these CPXs being in your root directory, you can change where that's at. But we're going to talk about that in a second. So right here, I want to create a new directory called CPX. So I'll do that by just simply going through Windows here and going on the, click on the new folder up top here and create that directory, CPX. And this is where I'm going to store all of my control panels at. Now for demo purposes, I am running off of a C drive that's very clean, but this is my real C drive, and you'll see here I have a bunch of CPXs inside the CPX directly. I want to just copy those over to the C drive that I'm using, the C drive initial here. And I can install them right here in the root, but instead, like I said, I'm going to create a directory called CPX, enter, and go over here, click on it, and paste them in here. So now that I have them there under the CPX directory right here, I can, instead of the root, I can now go back to my ST under control panel and change this path here. And I can just simply click on it, it comes up, there's the new directory, and there they all are. So I can just click on OK, and I can say save, and say OK, and then close it. Okay, they don't show up yet, and they won't even show up if we close the control panel and reopen it. And it's simply because the control panel reads the presence of those during boot. So we're going to have to reboot the ST. Now, the reason this came up in blue is because I'd already set this on my other drive, my other directory, where the control info file has the new colors. But we'll get into how to change that later. But now we're going to go bring up the control panel, and then you'll see that we have all of our things there. So now we're going to go through most of these one by one, the different ones that are here and how to do it. By the way, if you click on the options at the very top first, you'll see that there's the About, and this is version 1.31, the latest one that was available. Now the first thing we're going to look at is the color setup. And since we're medium resolution, we have a large variety of 4 colors to choose from. But if you notice here that you can adjust it. Now right now I'm on the top left, which is the white color right here, and I can adjust that by changing these sliders and change the white overall throughout the system that way. So that color change impacts everywhere. Now remember, how you apply these colors, whether it's red, whatever it is, you get to modify these to whatever colors you like for your system. Later on, you're going to use it in other places to take those colors and apply them to specific elements. So we can play around with this, find out which ones we want to use. This is the blue one right here, and change it. It will change blue everywhere. Now that we've identified the colors we want, we're going to go into the setup here to configure the CPXs themselves. If you notice here that there's them listed in the top part, you can scroll through it here and do different things. Among those is you can change the name of them, or you can change the color. In this case, you would just click on the color you want for the text that's there. And similarly, if you change one of the icon colors, you get down to the 1 through 4 values, you'll see that it changes color accordingly. That's white, for example, black, red, and blue. So we can go ahead and do that. We can also decide whether it's going to be RAM resident, stay in RAM, or get called up when you click on it. Nowadays, I wouldn't bother with putting it in RAM. You want to save that, and then save defaults overall. Okay. Once we've saved those and we scroll down here, you'll see that the sound when I was working on it is now blue and red on its entry. Now I did get a little ahead of myself, is that I went into the colors, but let's go back up to options for a second and setup. And you'll notice here that there's several things you can do. One is you can change from a 12-hour time to 24, and it'll get rid of the AM up there. The other thing is you can inactivate some of these, but you can go over here, like say which one you want, and you can deactivate it. For example, there's a modem one right here. If I want to deactivate it, I simply click it, and it's now deactivated. Unlike other settings that you have to save, these are renamed as from CPXs to CPZs immediately. And again, if you want to do others, you can as well. The next thing you want to be able to do is you can reload them. We already talked about the CPXs and how to load them. We need to save that if you've done that during this visit to the control panel. And for whatever reason, if you click on the other one icon there, you can reload the CPXs back in. One is the general setup of your system, and then within this CPX's control panel, you can turn off the mouse bell or the click bell, the keyboard clicking. You can turn that off as well. The blitter's already on down here. It shows it as being on, and that's because I did it through the initial interface. But if the response rate of your keystrokes, your mouse clicks, all that's available here. Again, you'll want to save that, and then once you do that, you can click on OK to exit. Okay, so that's the control panel system. Now, depending upon your program, you may need to do some other things. For example, the mouse accelerator, you have to have that program running before you can configure it with a CPX. And I didn't load that up, but you can. The other thing is modem setup, for example. The reason it still appears here is because I haven't rebooted. But while we're here, you can go in and change different configurations of your modem port to accept whatever modem you have connected up. Now, of course, if you're running an emulator and not a real ST, these don't really mean anything because most have serial and printer ports turned off. So you really don't need to have those. And that's why I decided to take those out earlier. Printer setup here, same thing. You can change the type of printer, which of course we don't have dots and daisies anymore. There is a way we'll talk about later how to put in HP drivers for laser or dust jet printers. So if we head off out of here, and of course you want to save these, whatever you change here, you want to save them before you say OK or click on exit. Sound, believe it or not, you can check your left and right balance, change your volume, bass and treble. All very nicely. It's not quadraphonic like the Windows PCs, but you can check these little boxes and change your levels of all this stuff. And we're going to scroll to the bottom here and go to Windows Color. Now, as you saw when I booted up, and I mentioned window colors are, on this particular version I have configured here, have all these different colors. Now, you can configure this for every single element in your Atari ST dialogs. As a matter of fact, it affects every Windows, whether it's a file manager, program window, whatever. But as we move this over a little bit, and you see this little box here, just like any of the other elements here, I can change the border of that box, the text within it, and the color of the fill. So there's the outline, the black outline there. If I make a change to it, in here it'll show exactly. I can change the mode of background, whether it's striped or whatever, or solid. I leave it solid. Okay. I can make it white. Of course, with white text, that doesn't help very much. But anyways, I can set the background to whatever contrasting color or scheme I want to. I can change the text here. Okay. I can change anything I want within 4 colors. Now, of course, we were booted in 16 color, low resolution, 16 color. We have 16 colors to choose from. And you can see that here as I drag the dialog box. And just for demonstration purposes, you can watch it occur while you're doing the configuration. Let me get back down to 3 here for the border. Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and make it disappear with 2. I'll go back to black. Now I select a different window and I can change its properties. For example, if I change the fill here, you'll see it turns blue up there. So you can really design a really nice interface for your dialog boxes using this tool. And the external bars are not the only area. If I click here under info here, I can change the color of whatever the name of the program is going to appear in there, whatever it is, by simply changing this to a different value and choosing it as the default. So if I go over here and I change the color background, boom, it's red as well. Again, if you change the color, then the background, the text color in the background is the same, then you're in trouble. But here you can change it to whatever you want, some sort of pattern that you like. But I'm sticking to the KISS principle about keeping it simple so that it's easy to read whatever I'm using. And by the way, it's not just those areas there, but even these up and down arrows can be adjusted. I can sit there and change whatever I'm highlighted to that. So the borders and windows are infinitely customizable. Now, one thing you may have noticed is the scroll bars on the right, let me go over here to the D drive, were all white. And I made them into a pattern that gives it sort of a 3D appearance, makes it look like that. And not just the right. I saved the bottom until now so we can demonstrate that. Let me click over here on this. I want to change the fill. Okay, let me go back over here because right now it's white. I want to change that to a red fill just like the side. So I simply go back over here. Let me get it back to the control panel. There I am. And I want to change the fill. First I want to make it a solid. Right now it's on white. So I want to make it a solid. Now I don't want it black. I want to make it a different color. Now I make it red. Now I will repeat this for the other space next to that, but basically you just make all your changes and then you have to click on save again to make sure it's saved, and you click on OK. But like a lot of things, you have to either reboot in order for those changes to take effect. And just to demonstrate how they affect programs, I've opened up a database program here, and you'll see its dialog boxes or its scroll area, its editor has been changed as well. And by the way, a little quick tip there. We showed in the control panel where you can configure the list here of what ones you have installed. But you don't have to go through that to do that. You can just go into your CPX directly and do what you want there. Now, I don't even do it through the Atari interface. Okay, they're all listed there. And just by looking at it there, you can see the ones that are CPX, and you see the ones that are disabled are CPZ files now. And again, we can go out to the regular file system and change them here simply by going in here and renaming them to active or not. I create a little folder I use for hiding them, and I can drag and drop them. And I don't even have to rename them. I can just put them there. They'll never get read unless I want to. And then when I do, I just drag them back. One last little thing is that I mentioned you have to reboot to get the color changes. Well, you can really just read this INF file back in. Because you've saved it, you saved your desktop, and you saved your control panel, all that, and boom, you notice that the red bar is down here at the bottom. So there you have it, the Atari ST XControl panel, which allows you to configure your system and make some nice color changes while you're at it. Hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video. And if you want more of the same, subscribe to the Atari Geek. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description of this video.